everyone, this is Eugene Roddenberry.
Dr. Mohammed Noor.
Adam Nimoy, Leonard Nimoy's son.
This is Leonard Crowfoot.
This is Dr. Aaron McDonald, Star Trek Science Advisor and Lieutenant Commander McDonald on Star Trek Prodigy.
And you're listening to
Humanist Trek.
Humanist Trek.
You're listening to Humanist Trek.
the Humanist Trek podcast.
And you're listening to Humanist Trek, a fabulous, fabulous show.
Enjoy.
And don't worry, you can do your Temporal Mechanics 101 homework later.
Jesus is a biscuit. Let him sop you up. I'm going to be singing that all day, just FYI.
Oh, I love it so much. So good.
I hope you, I hope during your week you just think of that randomly.
Randomly, yes. Oh, God. Yes, I will. And in fact, I will probably look for moments to sing it at people.
Perhaps I could use this as an excuse to go to those far-off planets with little polka-dotted people if necessary, and be able to talk about love, war, nature, God, sex, all those things that go to make up the excitement of the human condition.
This is Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Welcome aboard. Jean-Luc Picard to the Starship Enterprise.
You want to review your rapid progress?
That nonsense is centuries behind us. To the Starship Enterprise.
Oh, yeah?
And it's enough, damn it!
Tempo, mon capitan.
To the Starship Enterprise.
But you can't deny that you're still a dangerous, savage child race.
Of the planet Earth.
You just don't get it, do you, Jean-Luc? That is the exploration that awaits you. Not mapping stars and studying nebula, but charting the unknown possibilities of existence.
Peldor Joy, and welcome to Humanist Trek. It's a comedy Star Trek podcast about the humanism in Star Trek. I'm Sarah Ray.
And I'm Allie Ashmead.
Oh my gosh.
I have to, it's so funny because when I say my last name, sometimes it sounds like ass meat. And I just want to enunciate a little more. It's and maybe I may start just saying Allie Ash or something. Cause
that's your porn name, Allie Ass Meat.
No. And because of my braces, it doesn't come out properly these days. So I may just say Allie Ash.
Okay, there you go. New identities. I love it.
Yeah, you can reinvent yourself anytime you want, and that's
Exactly.
what I'm doing next season.
I love it. That's awesome. We've talked briefly, I think, about like it's time for some new tattoos, and I came up with a couple designs that I'm looking at getting done. One of them is this cute little bee, and it has a little trail, behind it with a little heart shape.
Aww.
And it's a rainbow flag, and then it says yourself underneath. So be yourself.
Oh, I love it.
Which is really cute. Yes. So I'm digging that. But I think I might do that in the trans flag colors instead of the rainbow flag.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is I came up with an idea for like yin yang cartoon cats.
Oh.
Where one of them is the pride flag and one of them is the trans flag.
Cool.
But in like the watercolor sort of style.
And is that set in stone, or are you gonna, or have you given it to your tattoo artist and say, "Hey,
yes.
Can you do this?"
Yes, okay. Yes. She finished the cats already and is going to be working on the other one. I haven't seen what they look like yet, obviously, but the tattoos I have a guitar that was like my very first tattoo. When I turned 18, my buddy Aaron and I went to the tattoo shop. He got his eyebrow pierced and bled like a stuck pig. I mean, it bled and bled and bled and bled forever.
Oh my goodness.
And then I got this tattoo. Of course, it's all bled together now and is, you can't see the fine lines and stuff anymore. But
I was going to say, though, it looks pretty good for being, 20 some years old? Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, so that's the first one. And because I play guitar and I was big into Garth Brooks back in the day and like I was going to be the next country music artist, that was the plan. So I have that one. And then I have the one that you and I got at Retromania. I got the mushroom. Yeah. There's a flower that was a Friday the 13th flash sale. So it has a 13 in it, and Friday the 13th doesn't mean anything to us. Like we're not.
It's just cute.
Yeah, we're not. It's cheap tattoo day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think anything happens. I'm not superstitious. But Becca and I both got the same one. And as we were sitting in the chair having it done, we realized we had been together for 13 years. So that does sort of have some meaning. And then the other one is a Bob-omb from Super Mario 2, which was one of my favorite games growing up. So anyway, I don't have anything that represents Star Trek, and I don't have anything that represents being a trans person. So the first thing I'm going to do is get some trans tattoos, because I want to have something that symbolizes my transition, my transfiguration.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
We're both looking at identity changes this week.
Yes. Yes. I'm going to become Allie Ash for ease of pronunciation, and you're going to get your tattoos finally.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I don't know. Everybody prepared to transfigure? I don't know what to say here.
Wonder Twin powers. Transfigurate. I don't know.
Transfigurate. I love it. It's Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 3, Episode 25, Transfigurations.
Commander, you'll soon be getting an intruder alert.
What? That's something, sir.
Intruder alert, sir.
It's an old-style starship, sir. Constellation class, heading this way under impulse comm.
Number one, kindly take charge of our guests until we have time to decide what we're going to do with them. Sir, number one, keep them out of my way.
Oh, hey, everybody. Remember that whole Geordi's not great with women thread in the overall character development? Well, this week, Geordi and Worf are at the bar throwing back drinks, and Geordi's telling Worf about this woman he's into. And Worf is just not the guy to go to with this kind of situation, because he's just like, you know, as a Klingon, he'd just go over there and grab him by the hair and bite her neck and drag her back to his room or whatever.
And quote some poetry or something. But Geordi, you know, Geordi's human. He's like, he's pointing the girl out, and Worf is like, which one? And so then and LaForge is like, don't stare. It's the one on the right.
There's an interesting bit of dialogue here that really made me think in a way that I've never thought before. Geordi's like, don't stop, quit looking at her, she'll see. And Worf says, good, you must let her see the fire in your eyes. Like, hello, nobody can see Geordi's eyes at all behind that visor.
That's true. I thought about that too. I'm like, what? Nobody's ever going to see his eyes.
No. Anyway, guess who? It's Christy Henshaw again. Remember Christy from the Romantic Moonlit Beach holodeck program?
Yeah.
Okay. She told Geordi she just wasn't into him.
Right.
And he hasn't let it go. This is not a great look for Geordi.
But, well, okay. Yeah. I'll leave it there. We can talk about this further in the episode. But Worf is a wealth of advice, because Geordi doesn't know what to say. He's like, words come later. It's the scent that speaks, that first speaks of love. What scent? Okay. What scent is he talking about?
Do you remember? Oh, gosh. Okay. Was it the episode where Q flashed in some Klingon women for Worf to fuck on the bridge? Remember this?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Or was it that, or was it a different woman on the bridge? Anyway, I remember something about Worf grabbing some woman by the wrist and then like sniffing her.
That's right.
Remember that?
They do that. Yeah, it's the scent. I forgot.
Scent.
Yep. I'm
Just
like,
smell her armpits first.
what's going on? Anyway, LaForge is like, yeah, thanks, Worf. That helps a lot. But Christy happens to come up to the bar as they're talking, and right beside him to get like a refill on drinks. And Geordi just is stuttering, doesn't know what to say. And she initiates conversation and like asking, hi, have you been? And he's just stumbling over his words. She's like, how are things in engineering? He's like, fine. They've been fine. And because, you know, he didn't like really reciprocate any conversation, she's like, well, I'll see you around. She touches him. You know how like anytime a woman casually touches someone's arm, that means they like you. She leaves, and he just kind of puts his head down on the counter. He's like, I'm such a loser. But in the background, did you see where she puts her head down on the table too?
No,
Yeah.
I missed that completely.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, that didn't go well. She's in the same vein that he's going,
How did I
they're
miss
both
that?
they're both nervous and they don't know how to talk to each other.
And I love this too. Worf's like, holy Kalis, dude, I have a lot to teach you about women.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
But Saved by the Bell, Geordi gets called to the transporter room.
On the way to the transporter room, Geordi bumps into Riker, Data, and Dr. Crusher in the hallway. Apparently, they've picked up a one-person spacecraft. The writer said one-man spacecraft, one-man spaceship, but now that we know better, we do better.
Mm-hmm.
A one-person spacecraft crashed on the planet. Life signs, humanoid, very faint but fading. So they beam down into the mountains of the foam rock playset. And there's pieces of debris all over the place. They quickly find the craft and an injured person with a little ham on his face, unconscious. And Geordi says, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but Geordi says we can beam him out from under there. But what we actually see on screen, he's not pinned under anything. It looks like he just fell out the back door of a shuttle.
Yeah, his legs are in the car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just hanging out of the car. He's not underneath anything, but
No.
whatever. But apparently he's not stable enough for transport because there's damage to his brainstem.
Brain! What is brain?
And his heart needs active neurofeedback, according to Crusher, and it can't regulate itself. So she's like, I need a volunteer. And of course, LaForge, I don't think he knows what he's volunteering for. He's like, I'll volunteer. And so she sticks like a tiny little circuit board to his head, to Geordi's head, and also to the injured alien. And she's like, I'm going to hook up your nervous system to the tricorder and your brain will regulate both systems. It should stabilize him long enough for transport. And he's like, okay, sure. She tells him to take some deep breaths and if anything goes wrong, she'll break the connection. So she does her thing and we see this little orange light, golden, we'll call it golden. We'll call it a golden light shoot into Geordi's forehead. And he's like, whoa. But he's like, no, I'm fine. No problem. And then they beam the three of them directly to sickbay.
Hi, Geordi.
Hi.
So how have you been?
Good.
How are things down in engineering?
Fine. They've been fine.
Well, I'll see you around.
I have much to teach you about women.
They've got the alien on a biobed, and he looks pretty fucked up. And Crusher just technobabbles all over the place to Nurse Temple. Nurse Temple is played by Patty Tippo. She played a nurse in Ed Wood as well. And a mom tourist in Allie's favorite, Ace Ventura When Nature Calls.
Oh, a mom tourist.
Mom tourist, yeah. So
Okay.
she's probably just in a crowd of people, or
Okay.
something. I don't know.
Because I was like, I know that movie back and forth, so I don't.
So Bev is talking about needing to design some kind of virus that they can introduce into this alien dude to boost his ATP production. And Nurse Temple goes to run a full scan on Geordi. Hopefully that energy transfer thing hasn't fucked him up.
Did you notice? Oh, so I'm looking at him because I had read that he lost his arm. So then I had to go back and watch it. And sure enough, he was missing part of his left arm.
No.
It was a stump. Like you only get to see a short shot of it, but when he's laying on the biobed, his left arm is just a stump.
What the fuck?
Then he's all fucked up.
Yeah.
His face is not only ham, is hamburger.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Up on the bridge, they've recovered some small blue glass doodad from the escape pod, and Data's going to try to write a program to translate Mac to PC so they can read what's on it. And they determine that there's evidence of a larger ship having been destroyed in this area. So that's probably where the escape pod came from. Crusher and Temple have done all they can for this alien, but he seems stable enough. Geordi comes in to ask to be released. He says he feels great, and he says that in that reading rainbow voice that he does, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Could have told you that. I feel great.
And that's when they were talking about limb refusion. So again, I had to go back because they're putting his arm back together.
I completely missed that. Completely missed it.
I did the first time too, and then when I went back and watched it, when she said limb refusion, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
because I wasn't paying any attention to what Temple was saying, but they're putting his arm back together.
Anyway, the Geordi scan came up negative for anything unusual, so he's free to get back to work. And as he leaves, Picard comes in to check on the progress with the alien.
Crusher didn't think he was even going to make it. There's so much trauma to his head and his chest and to his organs. And she thinks he's going to live now. But she says, I can't take any credit for it because his body has some sort of amazing recuperative powers. It's repairing itself at such a phenomenal rate. And there's one thing that troubles her, though. So she takes Picard over to the PowerPoint screen and she pulls something up to where it's supposed to be like this animation of his cells. It's basically cell regeneration, but she says it has nothing to do with his injuries. These are undamaged cells that seem to be mutating. She doesn't know what the cause is, and she's never seen anything like it. But it's possibly a part of his natural healing process.
In 10 forward, Geordi and Data are looking over this blue whatchamacallit as Worf throws back drinks. They think it might be some... I know, right?
Why are they in 10 forward with a piece of equipment that is vital to figuring out
What happened here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are they carrying it around in 10 forward? That makes no sense, guys.
Right. Well, and as we learn here momentarily, they're not here for work. They're supposed to be like, they've clocked out and they're just, having a drink at the bar after work.
And now, you just carry that shit around then? That doesn't make any sense.
They think it might be some chemically based system for energy encoding. Maybe we can shove those wires into a parallel port on a tricorder or something and send it some signals. And if that works, maybe they don't need to try to decode the whole thing from root. And Data's like halfway out the door to go test this hypothesis that they call a theory. When Worf finally is like, hey, let's talk more synthahol. We didn't come here to work. We came here to relax. And Geordi's like, man, I am relaxed. In fact, I'm more relaxed than I've ever been. I've never felt better. And then he looks over at the bar and there's Christy again. So he hands off the storage device and confidently struts over there to the bar and invites Christy to Star Trek and chill in the Arboretum.
Star Trek and chill. That's a new term. Yeah, he's like a new man.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, I didn't think you were into romantic walks in the Arboretum. Really? Dude, he took you on a super romantic date in the beach holodeck. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, and she friend zoned him. So,
Yeah.
bitch, what do you want?
Yeah.
But Worf looks on with pride in the distance, and he tells as Geordi and Christy leave, he tells Data, he's like, I've been tutoring him. He learns very quickly.
So good. Worf gets all the best lines. So good.
He does.
Crusher records a medical log. We're calling this patient John Doe in classic medical fashion. And his major organs have regenerated to the point where he doesn't need to be in the ICU anymore. And as she's scanning him, he wakes up and kind of jump scares her a little bit by grabbing her by the hand.
Mm-hmm.
And he seems very surprised to be alive and thanks Crusher for saving him, but he has no fucking clue who he is. Now that he's conscious, we should mention that John Doe is played by Mark Lemura, better known as Mark Dalton on All My Children. He did some other soaps as well and a number of primetime appearances over the years.
All My Children was one of those ones I hated. I hated all the so back in the day, there was like a network war.
Uh-huh.
There was NBC had theirs, ABC had theirs,
Yes.
and CBS had theirs. And
Yes.
I loved NBC and CBS. But but mostly anything on ABC, which was All My Children, like One Life to Live. Those just could not get into them for some reason. So I missed him.
I want to say All My Children is the one my mother watched. All
It
My
was on
Children, General Hospital, something
General
else.
Hospital was on.
I don't know how you remember any of this.
General Hospital was
This
on
is impressive.
ABC. Look, my memory is normally shit, but anything about music and actors from that time I can just remember. But everything else I can't remember. But yeah, General Hospital was on ABC. Guiding Light was on CBS. Days of Our Lives was on NBC.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know how I know this. I
Wow.
do not know. I don't know.
Christy, you're not leaving, are you?
I was just on my way down to the Arboretum.
Would you care for some company?
I'd love some, but I didn't think you were interested in that kind of thing.
There are a lot of things that you don't know about me.
I've been tutoring him. He learns very quickly.
Quick captain's log. They're continuing on their mission, mapping the Zeta Gellus star cluster, and John Doe is continuing to recover unbelievably quickly. And in sickbay, Beverly and John are talking while she treats him, and they decide that it's time to get him up out of that bio bed and up and on his feet.
Beverly mentions that he's been off his feet for almost a month, so a lot of time has passed. They've just been doing the star charting on this Zeta Gellus star cluster, so he's been there for almost a month. He's been there a while.
Yeah. I wish we'd have gotten something that shows the passage of time a little better than just the line read, but...
Yeah, because otherwise you would have missed it.
Right.
They could have done like a montage of just time passing, him doing physical therapy and,
Yeah.
whatever.
So she put some devices on his arms and legs to help him learn to control the muscles again. And she cautions that he's still pretty weak, but he's ready to get up and try. And he does pretty good at first, but then he goes to take a step and he collapses into Crusher's arms. And then he tries again, a little more, gently, a little more cautiously this time. And he's walking around the Office Depot chair when Picard comes in and he collapses again. And this time Picard catches him. Unfortunately, he hasn't regained any memories still. And the normal synaptic induction treatments that they use normally for people aren't working because his brain...
Brain! What is brain?
...is too different. Hopefully the memories will come back on their own like his physical health did. In the meantime, though, he's also experiencing some pain that doesn't seem to be related to the injuries. Maybe something to do with those cellular mutations, but we don't really know yet. And this is a great fucking scene right here.
Oh.
Riker's in a hallway.
Oh, God.
Waiting for the elevator. And when the doors open, Geordi and Christy are snogging. And Riker's like, excuse me, Geordi?
Yeah, he's like, I'm supposed to be doing that. You're stealing all my thunder.
That's my move.
Yeah,
making out in
right.
the elevator. Yeah.
Right. But Christy's like, this is where I get off. And then she goes. Before she leaves, she's like, see you tonight in 10 forward.
She says, this is where I get off. And Geordi's like, yes, it is.
Oh, my.
Oh, my gosh.
And so Riker's like, so you and Christy, huh? And Geordi's like, they've been together every night this week. And Geordi's noticed the past month or so, he's just crushing it. Everything's coming up roses. He's like, I don't know what happened, but something sure changed around here. And Riker's like, yeah, man, you changed. But Geordi doesn't see it, of course. Riker points out old Geordi wasn't very successful with Christy Henshaw. And Geordi's like, well, maybe I am a little bit more confident than I used to be.
In sickbay, this my favorite guy, Meows O'Brien, comes in, and this is where I don't know if you've watched DS9. He has this thing about kayaking and stuff.
Yes.
On the holodeck, so
Yes.
maybe this is where it comes from. But he comes in a wetsuit, and he's holding his arm because apparently he's dislocated his shoulder. And so he comes into sick bay, and Crush is like, "What the fuck happened to you?" And he was kayaking again. So she examines him. "Yes, you've dislocated your shoulder. I'm gonna get the osteotractor frame. Be right back." And then, of course, John Doe is in there. But then Wesley comes in to check to see if they're still on for dinner, and she excuses herself to get that contraption. And he touches Miles's arm, and Miles winces. "Up, you've been kayaking again." And then so Wesley goes and checks on he says his mom's favorite patient, which is John Doe. And he's doing all right. He gets up and shows him how his walking is progressing. He's like, "You've been doing great." And John says that his mom has promised him a tour of the ship tomorrow.
This is also the start of a very long-running gag. You mentioned Deep Space Nine and O'Brien. The writers love to torture this character.
Because he's so funny. He's the comic relief, but yeah.
Yeah, they torture him as this series and the next goes on. And so this
just
whole time,
chit-chatting.
yes, Wes and John are just chit-chatting, and O'Brien's in the background like, "Oh, I'm fucking dying over here. Would somebody help me?"
They're just talking about the weather and touring the ship and everything. And when O'Brien says he's dying, John gets a serious look on his face. John Doe. He's about to get another name, though.
Doe.
Because he says, "Don't worry, you'll be all right." And he touches him on the shoulder, and you see this glowy light from his hand, and suddenly he's healed. He's healed. We're going to call him Jesus. I'm going to call him Jesus from now
Space Jesus.
Yep.
Lay your hands on me. Lay your hands on me. Lay your hands on me.
Jesus is a biscuit. Let him sop you up. Jesus is a biscuit. Let him sop you up. Yep.
I need a tambourine.
Yep. Praise the Lord. Miles is healed. And Crush is like, "What did you just do?" And Jesus doesn't know. He's like, "It was just instinct."
Later, Bev and Wes are having dinner, and Beverly's talking about this enigma of a man that just fell into her lap. And Wes is like, "Yeah, it seems like maybe there's a little more to it than you just finding him interesting." And she's like, "Well, are you trying to ask if I'm getting romantically involved with him?" And Wes is like, "You said it, not me." But she talks about like the false sense of intimacy that can happen between doctors and patients. What's that called? The what was her name?
Nightingale.
Nightingale. Yeah. The Nightingale effect. Is that what it's called?
That sounds right.
But this she thinks is different. This is more of a spiritual connection. And Wes is like,
Jesus is a biscuit. Let him sop you up.
Heyo. Geordi pops onto the bridge with the storage device and finds Data working at the back consoles. And Geordi's got a new idea. So they scan the device again, but this time, instead of looking at it mechanically, they look at it biochemically. There's nucleic acids inside this thing, and when they analyze molecular sequences on nucleic acid chains, a whole ass navigation chart appears up on the screen.
What?
Bingo.
I'm just thinking, do we have any way, like, we've sent out like a what do you call it, a time capsule?
Yeah.
Into space. Did we as humans include any of that shit in there? Like,
no, we got a golden record though.
Yeah, because like, will our like RNA sequence yield some sort of star chart? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This time, Data uses the word hypothesis instead of theory. Thank you, Data.
Yay.
Get it right. So they call Picard over and try to align this star chart with their own, but it can't find a correlation because this sector hasn't been mapped. That's why we're out here, remember?
Yeah.
Allie, you should talk about this process because they're doing that thing you love so much. They're solving the problem with science.
Sweet. Okay. All right. So here we go. LaForge isn't giving up yet. he's thinking that it might be a flight path information from John's ship, but without a frame of reference, he couldn't determine any origin points. So Data has an idea, and he asks the computer to assume that the paths are course corrections and derive gravitational values for stellar objects near those flight paths. He asked the computer to assume that these symbols that are popping up on the display are pulsars, and then translate associated values into standard temporal notations. I don't know why you want me to do this, but I don't understand it. And he asked the computer if there's a pulsar with a rotational period of 1.5244 seconds within sensor range, and the computer says affirmative. So LaForge is like, we hit the jackpot. And then he asked the computer to overlay navigational charts using reference pulsars and project a flight path back to its origin. And the computer projects a flight path with the origin bearing 003, whatever, mark, whatever. And LaForge is like, that's it, Captain. That's where he's from. That's where Jesus has come from. And that bearing is almost directly along their planned course. So whatever course they're on to chart these stars, they're already in the right place. That was a lot. I don't understand any of that, but yeah.
Well, let me try to dumb it down in what I think happened. I think we had this navigational chart and a path, and you looking at the path, the course corrections they thought were due to gravitational changes. So you'd have to adjust your path due to gravitational pull of a star. So if we made a course correction every time there was a star, put a star there on that map, and then you plop these stars, and then you can align those stars to the maps we have. That's what I think happened. I don't really know.
We need Dr. Aaron. But yeah, that sounds feasible and logical.
Yeah. So Picard runs down to sickbay to tell Jesus this good news. And
the good news!
Good news, everyone.
Uh-oh, I don't like the sound of that.
And he's like, oh no, I can't go back there. He still doesn't have his memory back yet, but he does seem to know that he came out here to escape. In fact, there were others with him, and he doesn't have a clue what they were escaping from or what happened to the others, but he just knows he can't go back there, not yet.
Yeah.
Luckily, they're still 3 weeks away, though, so maybe more of his memory will come back by then.
And he apologizes for his outburst. Picard and Beverly leave, and then he has this attack because his whole body is glowing. What do we want to call that?
I don't even know.
It's like a glowy golden glow. He's got the golden glow. I don't know.
I'm going to play Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters is what I'm going to do.
Okay, there you go.
You still haven't seen it, have you?
No,
Allie.
Well, I've seen a lot of the award shows. I've seen a lot of the hype, where the girls end up on different shows doing their song, and everybody's up on the floor just because everyone loves it. No, I haven't seen it yet. Sorry. Forgive me.
What happened to you?
I was kayaking on the holodeck again.
You dislocated your shoulder. Sit down, I'll get the osteotractor frame.
Hi, Mom. We still on for dinner tonight?
7:30 sharp. I'll be right back.
Kayaking again?
Yeah. Hey, Doc. I'm dying out here.
Come in.
Allie, I want to tell you about my bra.
Okay.
As a trans woman, finding a bra that actually fits right has been a fucking nightmare. If you have a large torso, like I have, bra makers just assume you have giant breasts, which I do not. So I kept getting too tight around the chest or giant cups that my little itty bitty titties just couldn't fill. Then I found UnderOutfit. The idea of going to a store to get measured and fitted, that ranks somewhere between a transporter malfunction and first contact gone wrong. A terrifying prospect, but UnderOutfit's 180-day return and exchange policy means I can try different styles, sizes, and colors right here in the comfort of my crew quarters. If something doesn't work, I just send it back. No judgment, no pressure.
Oh, nice.
Wash it, wear it, wash it again, and you can still send it back within 180 days if it's not working for you.
Nice. Okay, cool.
I discovered the Comfort Shaping Bra, and it's become my everyday under uniform go-to. Supportive, comfortable, and my favorite part, the pads are sewn in.
Oh, thank God.
No more fishing the pads through that little fucking hole in the corner.
Where can I get some of those? Because I'm so sick of fishing, like you said, fishing those pads to where when I wash my bras, I've got those little zip container things where you fold it and that way they don't come apart. But I'm sick of doing that, and I would love it. Where do I get it? Because sign me up.
Humanisttrek.com/UnderOutfit.
And they've got shapewear too?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Sold. Sold. I'm so fucking tired of those types of bras. To where I only wear sports bras these days, and I just forget the underwire, forget the padding.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I measured myself right here, and this is like one of the few places where the measurements match the product, and there's like loads of different styles too, right?
Okay.
So
those I don't like. I want a pullover with no clasp. I hate the clasp. I don't do that.
Allie UnderOutfit has those too.
Awesome.
Adjustable straps, not adjustable straps, like there's all the fucking choices.
I will be shopping today.
Attention crew, UnderOutfit is now the official underwear of Humanist Trek. They have bras, underwear, activewear, shapewear, and more. Get 15% off your first order at humanisttrek.com/UnderOutfit. Crusher is making good on her ship tour as they sit at the bar in 10 Forward, which should be a nice, relaxing first day out of sickbay. So they go sit at a table, and while they're people watching, Jesus notes how remarkable it is that these people who are so different from each other work together freely. Hello, humanism!
Jazz hands. I mean, right.
Yeah. He says this is surprising to him because his people are different somehow, although he still can't remember the details. He just the feeling that he's got. And he talks about that energy pulse yesterday, that for a brief moment, his purpose seemed clear, but then it was gone just as quickly. And Bev still thinks it's linked to the cellular mutations, although she's still at a loss as to why that's even happening.
So then they kind of talk about their relationship that's evolved since, he's come on board, and you've done so much for me, and I only wish there was a way to repay you.
Crusher's like, this is space communism, baby. There's no copays or out-of-pocket maximums or any of that shit. You don't need to repay me. We do this because we care about people. No, that's not what she said.
Well, she did say, the friendship we developed has made her very happy, and he goes on to say that the rapport that exists between us means a great deal to me too. But he knows deep down he's on some sort of journey. Whatever brought him there, whatever's happening to him, it's all part of that journey, and I've got to complete it before I can ever think about fucking you. So sorry. That's really, really the gist of it.
Up on the bridge, Worf's got a bogey on long-range scans. Impossible to identify at this distance, but it's definitely on an intercept course. And it's hauling ass. Warp 9.72.
Damn.
Whoever this is, they must be in a hurry for some reason. But they're 10 hours, 53 minutes away and not answering the phone. So Worf's going to keep an eye on him and keep calling. Back in sickbay, Jesus has a major glowy episode and collapses onto the floor just as Nurse Synagogue comes in. She calls Crusher, and together they help Jesus back into a chair. And he says this time was much worse than last time. And he can't make it stop. Whatever's happening to him, he can't control it. They're not able to give him anything for the pain because his cell structure is transforming. And Jesus tells Bev, I got to get out of here. And she's like, you have to what? Where? Go where? And Jesus is like, I got to get off this ship. And she tries to tell him, you're not in any condition to go anywhere. But he glows again and takes off running through the hallways.
So Crusher has to call security, and anytime you have to call 911, you know they're gonna bring out the guns and somebody gonna get shot accidentally. So they smash cut to the shuttle bay where some engineers are working on that little cardboard tiny little shuttle. I kind of want to make one of those, like a small
Yeah,
scale
yeah.
one, like get some little wood and make one of those. It's the L-Boz, but it looks like a little cardboard box. LaForge is in there too and telling them to like realign the magnetic inducer. But you can see John up on the top level walking across to, I guess, some control booth up there. Some guards and Beverly and Worf come into the shuttle bay, and Crusher sees him up there and calls his name. Worf yells up to John to leave the control booth immediately, but of course he's just not hearing anything. Crusher tries to talk him down while Worf sneaks up there and then tries to sneak up on him with a phaser and tells him to step away from the controls. And John tells him, like, get back. I don't want to hurt you. I just want to leave. But Worf also says, I don't want to harm you either. I just need you to return to sickbay.
Except he's got his heater pulled.
I know. A typical cop. Like, no offense to Worf, but he's doing his job.
All
I guess.
cops are bastards, and that has to include Worf, unfortunately. Sorry, Worf. Sorry, Odo. Yeah.
Yeah, and the phaser comes out always. And of course, John says, don't come in closer. I can't control what's happening to me. And of course, Worf comes closer, and there's this huge glow that like pulses out of his body and hits Worf and knocks him over the fucking railing and basically breaks his neck. So he falls all the way from like 2 levels to the floor.
That was a fun stunt fall. I like that.
I wonder. Yeah, we know that Michael Dorn we had someone else do it, but
yeah.
Crusher rushes in with her tricorder and she's like, yeah, his neck is broken.
No life signs either.
He's dead, yeah.
Oh my god! They've killed
Mr. Worf.
you, bastards!
And then John comes down and he's about to kneel and they're about to like hold him at gunpoint, but no, Crusher's like, no, let him do what he needs to do. And he kneels down and touches Worf. He gives him the golden touch. He gives him the golden finger. I don't know. And Worf is back to life. He brought him from death to life. He didn't even get to see like Stovacor or anything.
Do not come any closer. I cannot control what is happening to you.
His neck is broken. No life signs.
I can't believe it. There's no trace of injury.
Jesus is a biscuit. Let him sop you up.
Jesus gets called up to Picard's office, and Picard is just grilling him. And Jesus is clearly uncomfortable, but he admits to trying to steal a shuttle, but he just doesn't know why. And Picard's like, this is fucking bullshit. I need some answers out of you. You almost killed one of my guys. And Crusher's like, yeah, but don't forget, Jesus saved his life too. Jesus saves. And Picard's like, yeah, that's why he's here and not in the brig. Well, whatever is happening to Jesus is accelerating, and Beverly scans him and says it's almost as if his body is generating an electrical field that's warping the tissue. And Jesus is afraid. He's afraid for himself, for everyone on the D. He just knows he's got to get the hell out of here, isolate himself, because whatever this is, it's dangerous, clearly. But he insists he doesn't want to hurt anyone, and that's why Picard needs to just let him go before somebody else gets hurt. Unfortunately, though, time's up. The alien vessel is coming within weapons range, and it's got its shields up.
Uh-oh.
This was dumb, too. Picard tells Crusher to keep Jesus under constant surveillance, so she takes him out onto the bridge.
Right, with them. So I guess they're in his ready room.
Yeah,
so they come out on the bridge. They're all on the bridge. Mm-hmm. Once again, dangerous alien on the bridge.
Yep.
But LaForge happens to walk up to John as they're coming out of the room, and he's like, I really want to thank you And John's like, for what? And LaForge is like, I don't know what happened, but down on the planet, you gave me something, and it's like a new confidence, and I just want to thank you for it. But John says, I don't think I can take credit for that because I only helped you find something you already had. So that's the end of that conversation.
It's weird, though, that Geordi seems to have figured out
Yeah.
that whatever's different about him is because of Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that little like thing that went into his head, that little golden. I don't know what you want to call it.
The alien ship rolls up, still ignoring their phone calls, but it scans the D and finally answers the call. And an alien with face ham similar to Jesus appears on the screen. And somehow Jesus knows that this dude's name is Sunad. Sunad is played by Charles Dennis, who comes back as a chancellor in Star Trek Enterprise.
Okay, cool.
Picard mutes the call long enough for Jesus to say that he doesn't know how he knows this guy. He just knows that Sunad is dangerous. So back on the call, Commander Sunad of Zalcon speaks.
That sounds like something I made up. You know what I mean? I am Commander Zunad of Salcon. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, it's it reminds me of what was the name of the fortune teller machine in Big? Do you remember that?
Mm-mm. With Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
What was it called? The Zoltar machine.
Zoltar.
Yeah, Zoltar.
Okay. Yeah.
So Commander Sunad of Zoltar accuses them of trespass and of holding a Zalconian citizen. And Picard tries to do his normal diplomacy and introducing himself. And, we didn't mean to come onto your land or whatever, but Sunad is not having it. He wants Jesus returned immediately.
Picard says that this individual is a guest on our ship, and we found him dying in a shipwreck, and we returned him to health. Sunad does not give a shit. You aided a criminal. He's one of 4 escaped prisoners. We've already killed the other 3. We thought this one was dead. So bring him back, give him back to us so we can kill him, basically. And Picard is like, well, what did he do? And Sunad says he's a disruptive influence. He spreads lies. He encourages dissent, and he disturbs the natural order of our society.
Oh, Allie, I think we've heard this bullshit before.
Mm-hmm. And Picard's not like, that's not enough for him. He keeps asking questions like, well, in what way did he disturb the natural order?
Mm-hmm.
And, it's not your concern. Oh, heard that too. Heard that before too.
Mm-hmm.
We give you 2 hours to comply. And it's funny they give them 2 hours, but I mean, that gives them 2 hours to think of something.
Right.
But yeah, and Sunad hangs up.
And also, time is measured differently based on a planet's distance from its sun and its day-night cycles and all that bullshit. Like, you know, we do this for the ease of television, obviously, but 2 hours to use, 76 Lockmars to somebody else. Like, who the fuck knows?
Lockmars? What the fuck is a Lockmar?
It's a unit of time on Zoltar. Around the bridge for analysis, Worf says their weapons are comparable. Geordi says they're as fast and probably just as maneuverable. Troy says she senses that they will carry out this threat. But also there's something else. The Zalconians are afraid of Jesus. So Picard calls a quick meeting in the conference room. It leaves Data in command and Worf to handle the Zalconians if needed. And Jesus is in this meeting too.
Gosh, it would have been nice if Troy had been like visible in the episode before this moment, because we didn't see her at all until this moment.
Yeah. So Jesus still doesn't remember anything, but he doesn't believe he's a criminal. And this puts Picard in a spot. And Jesus acknowledges this and offers to surrender if it comes to that, to keep the D out of danger. But he's just got this weird feeling that this is about something more than just his life, something important that he needs to complete. And his survival is vital, and he just can't explain it any better than that. So Picard's like, well, I'll let you know my decision shortly. You're dismissed. And Jesus leaves, allowing the rest of the group to discuss further. Crusher, unfortunately, has some personal feelings about this that are clouding her ability to think clearly.
Yes and no. I mean, I think it's normal to care about someone who's been on your ship
Oh yeah.
for a month, and you also, get to know them and care about them. And I think but yeah, I get it. Maybe it's clouding a little bit, but I think it's okay to be clouded by human feelings in a way.
I think it would have read better to me if they hadn't tried to introduce a romantic element at all.
Yeah.
Take
I
that
agree.
off the board completely, and it's just her making the case that, like, to the rest of you, this is just some dude and you don't know anything about him, and these people say he's theirs and they want him back, and so he's a
Right.
piece of property and you just give him back. But I've
Right.
been down in sickbay for a month getting to know this guy. If they
Right.
had played it that way, I think it would have landed better for me. Anyway.
Agree. There wasn't really they made up this romantic connection because there wasn't really
Yeah.
anything.
No, and there didn't need to be for the story.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Crusher's not happy about Picard considering sending Jesus back to be killed. And while Picard must consider all the options, he does believe Jesus that this is about something more than that of a simple criminal. And Troy adds that Sunad feels personally threatened by this space Jesus. So Riker puts on the humanist hat and puts himself in their position. A little empathy.
Oh.
If they were in Federation space holding a Federation citizen, I mean, I know how I'd feel about that.
Yeah, but we wouldn't meaning the Federation, they wouldn't want to get him back just to kill him.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. And again, like, this is another one of those, this isn't our culture and we can't judge their standards. And, yes, we might want our citizen back to put them on trial.
Right.
Where you have already tried, convicted, sentenced, and are trying to carry out an execution. Who are we to judge your society? Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Anyway, the Zalconians don't feel like the Federation should be involved in this at all, and yet here we are.
John, I really want to thank you.
For what?
I don't know how or even why, but down on the planet, you gave me something. A new confidence.
I doubt I can take credit for that. Perhaps I only helped you find something you already had.
So I guess their 2 hours are up because Sunad is on the view screen and he's saying, "We're not going to take any more delays." And then Picard.
He's really trying to diplomacy here. He's playing the whole, like,
we
we're
come in
out
peace
here
or
to
whatever.
Yeah, exactly. we're out here to seek out new life, new civilizations,
And there it sits.
He says, "We're here to establish peaceful relations." And Sunad says, "We do not want relations with you." Oh, damn.
Picard's like, we understand the word no, we respect that. But Sunad says, "We just want you to leave Zalconian space as soon as you return the criminals. Return Jesus to us."
And Picard's like, "Got it. We'll leave." In fact, you see, we have this directive, call it our Prime Directive.
The Prime Directive. How often have you broken it?
See, the Prime Directive has many different functions.
The Prime Directive?
It is more what you'd call guidelines than actual rules.
It's a very interesting proposition. Let me think it over.
Which means we can't interfere with the affairs of other cultures. But before we return the survivor, I'd sure like a better explanation of what it is he did to warrant the death penalty. But of course, Sunad doesn't want to. This ain't none of your business, Federation.
And Picard's like, "Yeah, it's true. It's none of our business. However, I think there's some things I need to tell you before you, speed away. This survivor has suffered memory loss, so he doesn't remember anything. So therefore, he's not equipped to even defend himself." And then Sunad's like, "Well, there's no defense. Our judgment is final. Blah, blah, blah." And then Picard's like, "Well, wait, there's more." Since he's recovered, he's also shown some really unusual abilities. And Sunad perks up and he's like, "What kind of abilities?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently he has the power to heal injuries with a simple touch. And Sunad is like, "Lies. I don't believe it." And Picard goes on to say he can even reverse death himself.
Real Jesus of Nazareth shit.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And Sunad's just thinking, you're wasting my time. That he's corrupted you guys as well. And something starts happening all over the ship, and I don't think I understood what caused it.
I don't know how they have this power. So Sunad turns to some UC behind him on the bridge.
Okay, I didn't see that.
And then suddenly nobody on the Enterprise can breathe. How do they have that power?
Everyone starts choking all over the ship. And I thought, well, maybe I thought it was Jesus that was doing it, but I didn't realize, I guess I missed that whole exchange where Sunad turned around. Maybe it's some kind of weapon they have.
Maybe, yeah.
And so everybody starts choking.
All over the ship, people are dropping like flies. And Jesus goes to Beverly and places his hand on her chest. Big golden glow, and now she can breathe again.
She's got the golden finger. He's giving her the golden finger.
Hey-o. And with that, Jesus remembers who he is, what he is.
Piggy? Fozzie? Where am I anyway?
So out in the hallway, he heals another crew member on the floor, and then placing his hand on the computer screen along the wall, sends a golden glow across the whole ship, restoring everyone's ability to breathe again.
They're healed. They're healed. Jesus is a biscuit. Let him stop you.
Oh, God. Oh. They arrive on the bridge as Sunad orders weapons armed, and Jesus warns him that he will no longer harm the Federation crew. And with his hand, he somehow transports Sunad from his own bridge onto the D.
Like that, like a
Very
split
cute.
second.
Yeah, very cute.
Very much. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Jesus insists he won't hurt Sunad, but Sunad thinks he's evil and begs Picard to kill him. And then Jesus says, you could learn a lot from these Federation people. They don't fear me. And Sunad says, that's just because they don't know how dangerous you are. You and you people, you and the others like you.
What do you mean, you people?
And then we learn that for generations, the leaders of their world have insisted that people like Jesus were dangerous. But in fact, their species is simply on the precipice of evolution. A transmutation beyond our physical being, Jesus says. The leaders tried to convince them that it was a fatal illness, that the pain and energy pulses would kill them. They presumed them dangerous and started rounding them up and destroying anyone who showed signs of the titular transfiguration. So Sunad insists they were just trying to protect their society. But Jesus argues that they saw the mutations as a threat to the status quo, to their authority. But they were just scared of something they didn't understand. I think that's some bullshit we've heard before.
Yeah. So they were rounding them up and killing them.
Some of these people didn't believe they were evil, though, and 4 of them fled, planning to let the transformation continue. But they were hunted down and the others were killed. Jesus survived with the help of a kind and generous people.
Then he suddenly turns, he completes his transformation and he turns into this glowy figure.
No more hiding, now be shining like I'm born to be.
Basically, he's got a morph suit on underneath there and he's freaking glowing. And you know those morph suits, if you've ever gone to any sort of event downtown or any kind of running event, there's always somebody in a morph suit.
Yes.
It's a bodysuit, basically.
Yeah, like a literally full bodysuit. Yeah. And I read that this was mostly practical effects. They were able to dress him in whatever this fabric was that was able to react with a certain type of film that they used that made him glow. There was very little post-production special effects done on it, which I think is really cool.
Yep. He's glowing and he says everyone's kind of taking a step back and he tells Sunad that there's nothing to fear, that you can join me. You know, all Zalconians can. It's like the order of their evolution. And he reaches out to touch Sunad and Sunad is still resisting. He's like, don't fucking touch me. But John's like, okay, fine, as you wish. But others will listen now that you can no longer stop me from telling them the truth. And those who are willing to follow me they can now make a choice. They can be presented with the truth so that they can make a choice.
Yes.
With that, he swishes Sunad back to his Zalconian ship, and they take their penis-shaped ship and hightail it the fuck out of there. They're out.
And Jesus tells Picard that his people are about to embark on a new realm, a new plane of existence. And it's all thanks to the crew of the Enterprise. And Picard's like, well, as I was saying before, it is our mission to seek out new life and whatnot. We're just privileged to have been present for the emergence of your new species. And then Jesus turns to Beverly. You gave me life and more. I do not have the words for my gratitude, nor my sorrow at leaving you. And he gently brushes her cheek, then turns into a glowing orb and flies out through the sunroof. Off to the next adventure.
The sunroof?
Boy, I'm sure glad that's over with.
I'll be glad to be relieved of this cargo.
Me too.
It is done, and perhaps just as well.
Yeah, but you know, I learned something today.
I sincerely hope that this is the last time that I find myself here.
You just don't get it, do you, Jean-Luc? You see, of all the species, yours cannot abide stagnation. Change is at the heart of what you are. That is the exploration that awaits you. Not mapping stars and studying nebula, but charting the unknown possibilities of existence.
Funny. I mean, it was good. This was a really good episode.
It really is a good episode, yeah.
And the weird thing is, when I watched it this time, I do not remember ever watching this episode before.
Really?
Yeah. I don't remember. This was not familiar to me at all.
All I remember is that there was a dude that was transforming and he turned into a glowing man. That's like literally all I remembered.
That could have been that could have been like several other episodes too.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But this one did not seem familiar to me at all. But it was really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, the themes of the episode, watching it back this time, seemed very familiar to me as some colonialist bullshit.
Yeah.
First, though, Jesus notices that on the D, people who are so different from each other work together freely.
Mm-hmm.
And later we find out that, of course, he's a member of a marginalized group.
Mm-hmm.
And in many ways, he represents so many of us who have been oppressed and repressed over the generations.
Yeah. Whether it's by race or sexual preference or gender or religion. We think about like the Holocaust, we think about slavery, we think about the LGBTQ struggles. They take the whole groups of people and they ostracize them because they just don't. The whole society feels threatened by them.
Yes.
Because they don't understand or they fear them.
Yes.
And
yeah. They're scared of progress and change. That sure fucking sounds familiar too. Because here's a guy that like, this is going to change their society in a big fucking way. Not like, letting a trans girl play on a sports team or whatever will. This is like seriously major. This will really upend probably the entire way. You're transforming from a physical being to an energy being.
Right.
That's going to change some shit. So people are like, scared of that change.
And guess what? They can't control them anymore. They're not going to be able to control them the way that they can't control people the way that they used to.
Yeah.
And that's really the big issue is the authority.
And isn't it interesting that so many times in our history, when progress is made, when change happens, it is against the control and authority of a conservative group of people trying to keep things the way they have been forever, to keep their power, to keep their control.
Exactly, to keep their power, because they're the ones on top and they're the ones that stand to lose the most. And that's really what this is about, is fear. And yeah.
Yeah, this dude's not dangerous at all. But the people in charge of his world are blinded by their bigotry.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is such an evergreen story. And it's a shame that I didn't remember as much as I did. But I'm glad that we, got the opportunity to see it again with this lens. Like that's, again, that's what this whole thing has been about. And I so appreciate these writers
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
like really telling these stories that are timeless.
Exactly. And like, yes, it's the same theme, but it's told in so many different ways to like, and there's so many different ways to tell it and
Mhm.
so many different aspects of it.
And you
So
think eventually somebody will fucking get it. If you see the same,
you would think,
you would think. No,
but no.
no.
But I definitely love the compassion and the empathy that that Beverly and the D shares, like with Jesus, John. Because they took care of him. They didn't even question anything. They're just like, oh, there's a person that's hurt. We're gonna take him in. We don't really care about his history
Yeah.
or his past. And sometimes they've done that and it's backfired on them, but they'd still have that empathy, and they still take them in and take care of them and nurse them back to health. So
Yeah, and even that says something. It says that because it would be easy to say, well, we got burned before, so fuck them.
yeah,
Leave them for dead. Well, okay, so maybe you got burned 3 out of 10 times or 9 out of 10 times. But
right.
then the time that you don't, it's worth it for that person that you do save that isn't, that doesn't
Yeah.
backfire on you, that isn't evil, that
Yeah.
it's still worth doing the right thing, even though the outcome might not always be what you expect.
And a lot of times I'll be like, we'll watch one of these episodes where they take in an alien, and I'm like, man, haven't they learned their lesson?
Right.
But it's a good thing they haven't. Otherwise, they wouldn't get a chance to show that empathy.
Mhm.
They just indiscriminate about
Uh-huh.
like how they show empathy to someone in need.
Yes.
And so yeah, we joke about that they haven't learned their lesson, but it's a good thing they haven't, because
Yeah.
it's teaching us something, that it's okay to have like amnesia when it comes to being fucked over. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then
Yeah. Yeah. That makes me think back to the analogy of, the rustling in the bush on the plains of the Serengeti or whatever. Like, is it a lion that's going to eat you, or is it just the wind? But there's berries in that bush, so we need those berries to eat, to live. And if you constantly worry about it being a lion that's going to eat your face, then you're going to die of starvation, right? Like at some
Yes.
point you have to take a risk.
yeah. And they're out there to take a risk.
Yeah.
We can handle all the pleasantries later. Now, let's get down to business.
I am willing to pay handsomely for you. I think you've had a little too much to drink.
Now, what do you know about my money?
Your money.
The money he stole!
You stole his money?
Those vouchers I gave you were every bit as good as Latinum.
You can spend Latinum almost anywhere. Those vouchers are only good at your bar.
All right. Well, as always, we'd like to thank everybody who supports the show, especially our founding admirals over at the Patreon. A special thanks to Allie, Peter, Sarah D, Bruce, Land of Oz, the artist formerly known as the Baron Curd podcast.
Oh, nice.
Land of Oz, and some call him Tim. Thank you all so much for supporting the show.
Thank you so much. Jesus is a biscuit.
No, damn it, now I want biscuits and gravy. Shit.
Captain, Starfleet Academy is requesting an update on our estimated arrival.
Finalists, please take your seats.
I must admit you have a very fast mind.
Once I realized it was a trick question, there was only one answer.
Although only one student will be chosen for the Academy, any of you could easily qualify. Candidates, good luck.
You got called to the superintendent's office. It's a story I'd like to hear.
Beck is back now with the answer to this week's Starfleet Academy Cadet Challenge question 4, Transfigurations. Remind everyone again the question.
In this episode, we see Dr. Crusher being assisted by Nurse Temple. Where is the name Temple from?
Oh.
Nurse Chapel, Nurse Mosque, Nurse Synagogue, Nurse Temple. I'm
Yeah.
double down. That's my answer.
Yeah. What did I say?
You
What did
said
I-
it was a play on chapel, which was absolutely correct.
Affirmative.
The name of this nurse is a tribute to Nurse Chapel from TOS, played by Majel Barrett, with the names Temple and Chapel having a similar meaning. So Allie gets the point.
Woohoo!
Does Sarah not get the point?
Allie's like, Sarah doesn't get a point?
No, because Sarah said it's like Nurse Chapel. It's a religious building.
Isn't that correct?
You said it was because it was a religious building. That is not why.
Oh.
Allie specifically called out that it was a play on chapel.
Okay.
Oh, I thought we both got it right.
You just
okay
looked for the similarities in the name. Listen,
right.
I'm getting nitpicky with these points.
I see that.
Sorry.
Are you though? Are you though?
Listen, if you're gonna interrupt my Sunday for this shit,
I'm not bothered.
Uh-huh.
No.
I ain't bothered. I ain't bothered. I got a point.
Next time on Humanist Trek, we'll discuss Star Trek: The Next Generation, Season 3, Episode 26, the season finale, The Best of Both Worlds, Part 1.
Ooh.
The evil Borg capture Captain Picard in an attempt to conquer the human race. I do remember this episode. What do you remember?
Is this Locutus?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This is, you look at the way new Star Trek does cliffhangers and season runs and stuff, and it's like every week is a goddamn cliffhanger. And and I gotta say, let me just throw this in here as an aside. My daughter and I have been watching Stranger Things. We did not watch it when it originally aired. We're catching up to the season that's out now. And that's the way television is done on Stranger Things. The season is one big long story chopped up into 10 episodes or whatever, and each one ends on a big fucking cliffhanger. And that's exactly what Discovery did too. It was the exact same model, but it didn't work for me in Discovery the way it works for me in Stranger Things.
I know why.
Why?
Because Discovery was releasing an episode every week, where Stranger Things, you're just able to watch the episodes back to back.
You're binging.
Yeah, I don't know though. If I go back and rewatch Discovery, would I find that I'm okay with it? Like I am Stranger Things?
Maybe. I know that
You
that's
might.
why I don't like the cliffhanger episodes
'cause you gotta
every
wait.
week when you have to wait a whole week. And I mean, they've been doing that on TV for years.
Yes, but okay. So let me make my final 2 points then. One of them is I don't watch the episodes back to back of Stranger Things. There's at least a day in between, or sometimes a week.
Okay.
Sometimes a week. There was a period there where my daughter would watch 30 minutes of an episode, and then a week later we'd finish it. Like there was that shit going on.
I'm just saying, I have been locked out of our room and had to sit on the couch while you guys watch this show every day.
The point is not about you. The point is, back in the day, The Best of Both Worlds Part 1 released June 18th, 1990.
Mm-hmm.
That cliffhanger hung until September 24th, 1990.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were
Months.
because
They were on season break.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's how they did things in the 90s and
Yes.
in the 2000s even. That is how you ended the season. It's like the Who Shot JR.
Yes,
Like,
right.
I remember DJ Tanner having to decide whether she was going to date Steve after the summer. And then there was this long...
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's all.
And that was a way to get people excited about the new season.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
Just ratings.
So this one ends on Riker. Picard is now a Borg, and Riker's on the D on the bridge, and he says, "Mr. Worf, fire." And then we have to wait months to find out what happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I was trying to say. What's our question for The Best of Both Worlds Part 1?
On the day the teaser scene for this episode was filmed, the production staff gathered for a group photograph of everyone involved, both on camera and behind, in the making of the series. Why did this photo become an important piece of Trek history?
It's the last photo of Gene Roddenberry with the cast.
Of 91. Yeah.
It's
Or 90.
1990.
1990. He did die the next year.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can come up with.
Yeah, because he did die the following year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last photo with Gene Roddenberry. That sounds great. Let's lock it in.
Make it so. And if you want to make it so, you can go out to your social media and share this episode with your answer and the hashtag Starfleet Challenge. And we will pick out a winner. And in 3 months, we'll discuss the... No. And next time, we'll discuss Star Trek The Next Generation Season 3, Episode 26, The Best of Both Worlds, Part 1.
It's a good day to die, apparently.
Resistance is futile, Everly.
Humanist Trek is available wherever you replicate your podcast. Follow us on all the social medias at Humanist Trek. Become a patron at patreon.com/Humanist Trek. Open hailing frequencies to podcast@humanisttrek.com and visit our website, humanisttrek.com. Humanist Trek is a production of Sarah Austin Media.